Hey, what is going on there, guys? We are here with our round two of our Theros draft, and our opponent is going to play first. Our hand looks pretty keepable, so we are going to keep it. Put a mulligan. We smashed our last round. It was pretty awesome. We won 2-0. Our first game was a lot more easy to win than our second one. Our second one was kind of a little bit more of a grind than anything. Being able to dig our way out of an anger of gods that got rid of the majority of our board. Actually, all of our board now that I think of it. But our opponent last round had Polish Crusher, Anger of the Gods, and a Crone Horse. Crone Horse was what we saw. So he was able to draft, I guess, 3, if you want to count a Crone Horse, on color rares. But I guess a Crone Horse is on color no matter which way you look at it. So here, let's swing in with our Tormented Hero. I definitely don't want my opponent to get the upper hand of being able to play things a lot sooner than me. So, swing with Tormented Hero. We'll play another Swamp, and then we'll pass. Next turn, we can either go Skullcleaver or Bloodtool Harpy. It really depends on what our opponent does. Blue-green is kind of tricky. It's a little bit tricky. You have to worry about a lot of different aspects, flash creatures and whatnot. There's also Benthic Giant, which we can't touch with any removal spell that we have because of that Hexproof. So we'll see. So now our opponent can either have triple blue or double green and 2 blue. He did play another land for turn, and it looks like he's just deciding on what he wants to do. Untap, retap, and Starncharted Warrior, which is very annoying because that card can get very out of hand very easily. So what are we going to do here? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to swing in with our Tormented Hero. So it looks like this guy was the one that was picking up all of our green, which could be a problem because I did pass up, and he doesn't want to block, of course, because Starncharted Warrior can get much bigger. I guess we could have played Minotaur Skullcleaver there, but I actually do want to play the Bloodtool Harpy first. We did pass up Nylea's Emissaries, 3 of them, so this could be the matchup where we see our opponent playing them. It could be troublesome, but I guess we'll play it as best as we can. And wow. Alright, so it is... Wow, 6-6. That is nuts. Alright, so now we're in a little bit more of a tough jam to try to grind out. Alright, so he swings for 6 here. Sip of Hemlock would be awesome right here. Rage of Perforos can't touch him, unfortunately. He has 3 cards in hand, and we basically get to see his entire hand if we go and play Disciple, which we may end up doing, or we could be more aggressive with Skullcleaver. I think we want to be a little bit more aggressive with Skullcleaver here, though. This way, we get to swing in with our Skullcleaver and our Bloodtool Harpy at the same time. And we are going to attack for a bunch, for 8. And eventually we are going to be blocking that Starncharted Warrior because we are not going to want to take any more damage. So Nylea's Disciple comes down. That's what I was kind of worried about. Fortunately, we don't have Shredding Winds or anything like that because we're not in green. We do have Sip of the Hemlock that we could play. Otherwise, we're kind of getting chunked right now. So we're probably just going to try and buy some time here. So let's play that. Still 3 cards in hand. Our options at this point are to Rage of Purpose and Annihilate Disciple, get that out of the way, that way we can go and swing in with Tormented Hero and Minotaur Skullcleaver, leaving Blood Toll Harpy open to block the Uncharted Warrior and not take any more damage, which is probably the best course of action that we have right now. Playing Disciple of Phenax and getting to see our opponent's hand can keep us from seeing like anything that our opponent might try to sneak out on us, but if our opponent happens to find some way to make that Star Uncharted Warrior even bigger, it's only a matter of time, and we really can't use the Rage of Purpose for much else other than getting rid of the Annihilate's Disciple right now. So that's probably the best that we have, and we're going to do that. See if we can dig any deeper in the Sip of the Hemlock, or Sip of Hemlock. So that's rough. We're going to put that on the bottom. And we're going to swing. So we do get to swing in for a nice whopping 2, because he decided to not take that. What else would be nice right here? Probably Grey Merchant, so we don't die. At a certain point in time, well, I guess that's not necessarily true. I was going to say at a certain point in time our opponent's not going to want to attack, but in this position right here, like Agent of Horizons is very good. So he'll swing with Staunch Hearted Warrior, and then we're going to block. Unless he manages to find some way around that. But I don't think that's going to be the case. So he's going to swing. Declare blocker. Block with that. And there we go. So now next turn he can swing for lethal. And unfortunately, that's pretty much what it comes down to. I don't know. I guess test the waters and see. Maybe he won't. I don't know. And he's not. So, yep. No, Voyage's End. So he's going to bounce. I mean, otherwise, there's no way for us to win this game. So we're going to concede that one. What did he have? A null? Okay, artifact or enchantment. Okay. So we saw an enchantment. That enchantment's quite good. Artifact or land. Boon of Erebos probably won't do us very much good. Sip of Hemlock is probably like the best card that we have for big threats. That or Lightning Strike or Magma Jet whenever the triggers are on stack. So we'll submit. We're just going to play it as it is. This might be a short round. We might go to game 3. But all a part of the learning process. So we'll play first. Triple Mountain and some drops. So we're not going to mulligan. Deathbell Raider turn 2 sounds alright to me. Spearpoint Oreods turn 3 and I guess turn 4 are supposedly alright. So he mulls, which is great. And he doesn't mull again. So no turn 1 play. I mean, I don't think there is one in... there's Scorpion in red. In green. I'm looking at mountains. There's Scorpion in green for 1-drops, but... not much else, I don't think, in terms of 1-drops. So 2 mana, no drops. We do have our Kragma Warcaller here. Nope, not the ability. Declare attack. Main 2. We'll play our Orion. And we'll keep this going. So another green. And wow, nothing still. So what I would love to get is a source of black so we can get our Kragma Warcaller off. But if not, that's alright. We have to attack with him, and we're going to. So there we go, taken down to 16. Or actually 14. First strike. Borderland Minotaur is fine here. And if we can get our Warcaller off and give it haste, and whenever our Minotaurs attack, they get... Oh, wow. So he just conceded. Well, I mean, I feel bad winning a game like that, but at the same time, I can't really complain. A one game is a one game, but I wish it was at least a little bit closer, so we could have had a real game going. So we're not going to maul this. There's no reason to. He plays his island. And let's see. Double red, double black. That's where we want to be. And if our opponent is on color and on land drops, we will probably have to grind our way through here. And some more land drops to supplement all of our plays essentially at this point. Our Disciple, Oryod, and Grey Merchant. Inevitably. And also Rage of Perforos as well. So hit our land drop. Sip of Hemlock's also quite amazing. And the Sip of Hemlock will be useful if he plays a turn 4 Staunch Hearted Warrior, turn 5 Shenanigan on it. And that may be the case because I passed up quite a few of them. Nope, Coastline Chimera. So it can block. You can block a lot. However, it's really just a 1/5. Play Swamp. Let's see. He's gonna block. He probably assumes I don't have any tricks, and I don't. So, that was a good read. Now we just go and play Disciple. So he is going to have to reveal 2 cards to us, and we get to take one of them. So hopefully either one of them will be good for us. Time to feed and dissolve. Interesting. I guess dissolve. Time to feed. He actually has to have a creature on the battlefield to be able to do that, of course. But anything that he plays at this point, I can probably get rid of it. At least the next 2 creatures in a row. So he's going to end. Wow. Grey Merchant and the Grey Merchant. So that's great. Right here, let's just swing in. And hopefully get 1 point of damage in. He could... No, he didn't flash in anything. I was going to say he could flash in something at this point. But he didn't. So, main 2. We can just play our Grey Merchant. One of them, at least. And smack him for 4. So now he has 6 mana. We know he has a time to feed. There's Fast as Emissary. Wow. So he is going to be able to get in there for quite a decent bit. If he attacks, that is. He could very easily... Oh, he is going for it. So what I really want, more than anything right now, is another land drop. And he gets to draw a card. What I really need is a land drop to be able to Sip of Hemlock. There we go. Thank you. And unfortunately, we can't really do anything here. Our opponent does still have time to feed, which is kind of a problem. And they did get to draw another card. However, we do have access to another Gray Merchant for a total of 6. What could happen is he could swing... Nope, that's what he's going to get rid of. Okay. So 1 damage marked. He's not going to... At least I don't think he's going to try to do anything crazy. Because he already has 1 damage marked. Breaching Hippocamp. Okay. So we get to get rid of the Thassa's Emissary next turn and swing for 4. Assuming my opponent is going to take the damage, or yeah, take the damage from both creatures and not block with Hippocamp. So yeah, let's Rage of Perforus. And we do get the Scry, which is always great. And Fleshmad Steed, we don't want that right now. It's not an awful thing, but I guess the argument you can make is that it gives us a little bit more for our Gray Merchant next turn. However, at this point, I'm just going to go in. So our opponent's not going to block. He takes the 4. Main phase 2. We'll play Swamp and pass. Now, what's pretty hilarious is the fact that our opponent does have Voyage's End. However, using Voyage's End on Gray Merchant is not the best use of resources. However, Vulpine Goliath is a very good card. Quite annoying, in fact. And Ordeal of Thassa. So now he gets to be a 4/3. And then a 5/4 the following turn. But he doesn't have any cards in hand, so that's also a good thing. And we are still winning in terms of life totals. So we have a mountain. Probably our best course of action here is to bestow. Cast with Bestow onto Gray Merchant. Just to make him a 4/6 with First Strike. This puts us in range to not only be able to block the Hippocamp, but also to be able to block the Vulpine Goliath with a double block if he decides to attack with it. So if he does, we can block the Hippocamp and not really have to worry about much. Yeah, so he's not going to. Alright, so he's just ending his turn. Land drops are not what I want to be seeing right now. However, a Gray Merchant's just fine. So now we can drain for 4. And again, our opponent can go about just using Voyage's End on our Grey Merchant to get rid of the fact that it's a 4/6 with First Strike. But that's probably not what he's going to do. So he's going to attack with that. So declare blockers. Let's try for it. He could very easily have something, but he doesn't. Wow. Wow. I'm quite surprised at that. I'm not entirely sure why he chose to do that. But we are just waiting on him right now. And I'm not sure if he was conceding there or... I don't know. Maybe he misclicked. He posted a question mark, so I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure what my opponent was asking. Maybe he thought it was a different enchantment. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe thought Hippocamp had flying. I don't know, but my opponent was questioning that last play. Alright, so there we go. End of the turn, and, well, we can't really do much except for... I mean, we can grind our opponent down, but that's not what I want to do. I mean, if he has any combat trick, this is not going to be profitable. So we'll just play Flamespeaker and pass. So there's the ordeal. He can attack with it. I don't believe that I would be upset if he attacked with that Vulpine Goliath, which means I can just go in and win the game. But I'm not sure that I would have used the ordeal on that Vulpine Goliath. Oh, an Underworld Cerberus! Wow, what an awesome card for exactly lethal. All right. I'm still kind of perplexed by the Hippocamp swing into a Grey Merchant block. And there we go. There's the win of the match. So round 2 was a success. Now let's go into round 3 and see what we can do.